Before there were banks, before contracts, before numbers on screens defined worth or survival, there was a shepherd king standing barefoot on dry Judean soil, dust clinging to his skin, hunger pressing against his ribs, uncertainty whispering louder than the wind. And in that moment, David opened his mouth and released a psalm that would quietly travel through centuries, through exile, through famine, through prosperity, through silence, waiting for a specific listener in a specific moment. And that listener is you, because you are not here by accident. You did not stumble onto this message by chance. And the fact that you are hearing this now tells me something ancient is already moving towards you. So stay with me and do not rush this, because this is not motivational speech and it is not superstition. It is memory, buried deep inside Torah, hidden in plain sight, overlooked because it works too simply and too fast. And to understand it, you must first go back with me to a night where oil lamps flickered against stone walls, where Jerusalem breathed slowly, where David, now king but still marked by years of lack, persecution, and waiting, spoke words that seemed almost dangerous in their calm. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack." And pause there, because that single Hebrew word, exar, does not mean I will someday not lack. It means lack has no permission to stay. And David did not say this from abundance. He said it from memory of caves, from debt, from being hunted, from financial fear, from uncertainty about tomorrow, and yet he declared something radical, something that rearranged spiritual law. Because in Torah, lack is not a punishment. Lack is a signal, a blockage in flow. And David understood something most never do, that sustenance, parnassa, provision, does not begin in the hand but in alignment. And alignment begins in the inner posture of trust, not passive trust, but rooted certainty, the kind that does not beg or chase. And that is why this psalm was whispered by merchants, by widows, by exiles, by people who had no logical reason to hope, because embedded inside it is a hidden mechanism. The sages called bitachon shalamut, complete trust, and this is where it becomes about you, because you may be working hard, praying hard, trying hard, doing everything right, and still feeling blocked, delayed, or stretched thin, and you wonder quietly, why is it not moving? And Torah answers gently, because flow follows confidence, not desperation. And this is not condemnation. This is compassion, because fear contracts the channel and calm expands it. And David knew this, which is why the psalm does not ask God for provision, it assumes it. It speaks from the end of the story. You prepare a table before me, not please prepare. And that is not arrogance, that is spiritual alignment. Because in ancient Hebrew consciousness, speech is not description. Speech is direction. And when you declare from certainty, you are not convincing God, you are aligning yourself with what is already prepared. And here's the hidden Torah secret most people miss. The psalm is structured to move the soul from anxiety to rest, from striving to receiving, from chasing to allowing, line by line, breath by breath, and when recited slowly, intentionally, it resets the nervous system. And when the nervous system settles, the soul becomes receptive, and when the soul is receptive, flow returns. Because blessing avoids chaos but seeks vessels of calm. And if this is speaking to you, type, "I receive" in the comments, not for me, but to mark the moment, because ancient practice always involved physical participation. And now, listen carefully, because the sages taught that Psalm 23 is not a comfort psalm, it is a recalibration psalm. It realigns the inner shepherd, the part of you that believes it must control everything to survive. And when David says, He leads me beside still waters. The Hebrew implies waters that do not resist, waters that are calm enough to reflect the sky, meaning clarity returns when striving stops. And this is why financial blockage often lifts not when effort increases, but when inner resistance dissolves. And you may feel this now, a softening, a slowing, a quiet recognition that maybe you have been holding your breath for a long time and Torah sees you in that. It does not judge you for it. It meets you there, and then comes the turning point, the line that changes everything. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows, and oil in Torah is not luxury, it is activation. Kings were anointed before they ruled, not after they succeeded, meaning overflow is not the reward, it is the sign you are stepping into alignment. And David declares overflow while still surrounded by enemies, while still living in uncertainty. And this is where the psalm stops being poetry and becomes instruction. Because when you speak overflow in the presence of pressure, you break the agreement with fear. And fear is the root of blockage, not scarcity. And I know you feel pressure, deadlines, responsibilities, expectations, maybe even shame around money. But hear this gently. Your worth was never tied to your balance, and the moment you release that belief, space opens. And here is the simple spiritual action I promised you. One action, no complexity, no ritual burden. Tonight, or within the next 24 hours, read Psalm 23 slowly, out loud if you can, but when you reach the words, I shall not lack, pause, place your hand on your chest and say, lack has no permission here, not aggressively, but calmly, like stating a fact. And then continue. Do not rush, let the words settle, because Torah works through resonance, not force. And if you do this sincerely, you may notice something subtle before anything dramatic, a shift in calm, a release of tightness, a sense of being held. And that is the beginning, because provision follows peace, not panic. And I want you to know this as we close. You are not late, you're not forgotten, you're not failing, you are aligning, and ancient wisdom does not shout, it whispers. And if this message met you gently, stay with me. Share it with someone who is quietly worried like this to help the teaching travel. Subscribe not for content, but for continuity. So this ancient river can keep reaching modern hearts and may goodness and mercy pursue you. Not because you chase them, but because you finally stopped running.